It's confession time. I don't like coffee. You might have noticed there's a change of scenery here. That's because life with a foster child, especially a 4-year-old foster child, is anything but quiet. So finding the time and the ability to film in a quiet setting is near impossible. So I'm actually over today at my in-laws' house, and we'll be cooking for you probably for the next few videos at least from here. But today we are going to be making something from a cookbook that focuses entirely on coffee. Today we are going to be cooking from the Maxwell House Coffee Cookbook, which, as you can imagine, focuses entirely on coffee and recipes that include coffee and things to eat with coffee. And I am more excited about the latter than the first. However, there are some things that I like with coffee in it. I like coffee cakes that have the instant coffee mixed in. It's not an overwhelming coffee taste. I like when chocolate is amplified with coffee sometimes, but I am just not a fan of coffee. I find it bitter. I find it not fun to eat. I really don't understand what all the hoopla is around coffee, but to each their own, I suppose. Today we are making apricot surprise coffee cake, which you can see the recipe on your screen there. And it's got some apricots and pineapple and oranges and coconut, some very tropical flavors in there for a coffee cake. And supposedly this recipe takes us to the city of Vienna. At least that's what the section of the cookbook is called, Coffee Break Vienna. Our recipe actually starts out at the stove, combining some crushed pineapple, which is supposed to be drained. I don't know if you've ever tried to drain canned crushed pineapple, but it's darn near impossible to drain that entirely, so it's still a little juicy. Not gonna care about it. Some chopped dried apricots, and then some sugar. We're gonna combine all that in a saucepan and bring that up to heat. The recipe says to heat this until it's clear. I'm assuming that means that the sugar is melted. We are to that point and it is bubbling. At this point, we're going to add some orange rind. We're going to add some orange juice, which both of these came from a fresh orange, and some shredded coconut. We're now going to mix together the dry ingredients. I've got some flour that actually calls to be pre-sifted, but then we're going to put it right back in the sifter again. It calls for some double-acting baking powder. There's 2 teaspoons of that. There is some salt and a half cup of sugar here. And we're going to sift all of that together. And then we're going to cut in 1/3 cup of shortening. I'm going to combine 1 egg with 3/4 cup of milk, and then add that in, give it a good mix, and then we're just about ready to put this thing together to bake. The directions say to stir this only until the flour is just damp. We're then going to put 2/3 of our batter into a greased pie plate, which I have here. And then after I have 2/3 of this in, I'm going to spread this out, and then we're going to alternate spoonfuls of the dough and our fruit filling. We're then going to place this in a 400-degree oven for about 30 minutes. It's not bad. If you like apricots, this definitely would be a cake for you. I could see how if you were into coffee, unlike me, this would go very well with coffee because it's a light flavor, it's not overly sweet, and yet has enough sweetness there. I think the fruit adds a little bit of sweetness as well in addition to the regular sugar. The crumb is nice. It's not falling all apart, but it's not overly dense either. I would say this is a perfect afternoon coffee, tea, cake, just as it's advertised in the book. I don't taste a whole lot of the coconut. I do get some of that pineapple hit, but most of the flavor that I'm getting is the apricot. Maxwell House, good recipe, highly recommend it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to us for more recipes as we do more here on Recipe Reviver. We'll see you next time.